Hey there, and welcome to the Valiant Entrepreneurs Podcast. And you're here today, you're joining us today. My name is Alasdair Cunningham. I'm with amazing Tom Cook. Today we are going to be discussing the perception of value in your business and how people from different backgrounds interpretate that value. Now, it's a big subject, I know, but we want to be talking about that today. And we're going to be talking about perception of value in a business or in a product or an offering that you serve or sell, and how people misinterpret that, and about how people have different views on that given their background and their situation. And we've got prime examples of where that's been, served really well to people, but then taken away from people because they see it as something else, okay? So we're going to be talking about that today. I know it's a complicated subject, but hey, we're going to work through it like, big boys and girls. So I'm here with Tom Cook. My name's Alasdair Cunningham. The Valiant Entrepreneurs Podcast is all about business. It's about, getting your business going, getting your business running, making money, dealing with the day-to-day problems, the day-to-day bullshit, and also talking about the things that really stop you from growing, and mainly that is yourself, and the ball that we put around ourselves to stop us exploding outside of it. So we want to be helping you overcome all of that. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Now, if there's anything in particular that you want us to address, please just drop us an email or drop us a comment, and we'll hopefully include that in one of the upcoming shows. But today, what do I mean by perception of value, Tom?
Do you know what was funny? Because as you were saying that, I was reading your book and it went from negative skeptic to a successful property entrepreneur. And I was suddenly thinking that's exactly what. Yeah. That's for a lot of people. That's perception of value. They're very skeptical about it, but in a very negative way. Yeah. And then you got other people go, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'll give you a reason why we decided to speak about this subject today. So this is my book, The 1157 Property Plan. If you're watching, you can see it. If you're listening, well, I've just said it. 1157 Property Plan. Now, I run advertising and I promote the book as, hey, get the book. It's completely free of charge, the book. Okay, I'm not charging you a single penny for the book. The book is free. All 218 pages are completely free of charge to you. All I ask you to do is, if you want me to deliver that to your door, i.e. so it lands on your doorstep so you don't have to actually do anything, is you cover the postage and the packaging. I mean, by all means, if you want to come all the way to our head office in Leeds City Centre, come up to my office, knock on my door and ask for a copy of the book. I'll give it to you by all means, but you've got to then pay trains, you've got to pay buses, whatever, however you transport yourself, and you've got to then take time out of your life to come and get that book. So I put it on, Meta ads, so it's on Facebook and Instagram, and we're like, hey, look, get this book. Mm-hmm. You can get it for free. It's just $4.99. Now, we get a mixture of comments and we get a mixture of emails. We get good emails and we get loser emails and bad emails. Now, this morning, I had a comment. I just happened to flick through Facebook and see it. And it was from none other than a health and well-being coach. And they promote themselves as a coach. What's a coach, Tom? Define a coach.
Somebody who helps other people, supports them, and helps them get from A to B.
Empowers them, perhaps?
Yeah. Empowers them.
Brings positivity to their life.
Gives them confidence, builds them up.
Yeah. So this particular coach, whatever, I'm not going to name and shame, but this particular coach left a comment saying a load of emojis, laughing emojis, saying basically along the lines of, the book's free, but yet we've got to pay postage and packaging. What a joke. All right? Something along the lines of that. All right? Now, the first thing I clocked was she's a coach. Mm. So she coaches and inspires other people. But yet her natural go-to was negativity. Mm. Now, who the fuck would want to be coached by somebody like that? Who would want to be coached by somebody whose go-to is negativity? I don't understand that. Mm. I don't understand why somebody would naturally wake up in the morning and want to be negative. Like, to go out of your way as a coach and then comment on other people's stuff online in a negative format. what does that say about your coaching business? What does it say about you as a coach? Like, what do you think it says?
Well, that for her, I think it says more about their own business than what we're doing. And I think because you said it, like, no, somebody's woken up in the morning like that, and they've gone to the effort to then type that out in the comments. That's
just pathetic, isn't it?
It is.
Like, there's a saying, isn't there? A billionaire will never create a millionaire for trying to become a billionaire. A millionaire will never criticize like somebody who's making 100 grand a year to try and become a millionaire. Somebody who's making 100 grand a year will never criticize somebody who's making 10 grand a year to become 100 grand a year. Yep. It's always the people that are doing nothing that have the most to say in a negative format, okay? Yep. And this comes back to the perception of value. I mean, in this book, the 1157 Property Plan, I literally detail step by step how I built my property business. I detail how I went from, having less than 4 grand in the bank to building a 7-figure portfolio and doing like hundreds and hundreds of property deals. I literally lay it out step by step. So the value is in the book. The value is in the book. The perception of value is huge because it is huge. Right? I've got people who have bought the book and never invested a single penny with me further than the $4.99 to buy the book, who have gone on and got their first properties. Yep. Do you remember a couple of weeks back we had an event and we had 2 gentlemen that came to this event? It was a very low cost ticket event. So I think the ticket cost was £20 to come to this event. And they came to the event and they were sat at the back of the room, in the room we're in right now actually. And they actually bought my very first book, which is Whatever It Takes. Now, this was done in 2018. They bought the book and they came back to the event to basically say thank you because that book allowed them to start their property business and get their first property. The value is immense. But yet somebody, people with let's say a rich mindset or a rich brain or a rich, way of being, they see the value. Broke people see the cost. They see it as $4.99. Wow. Like I've had people before saying, people go online and they take this book and they say £4.99 for postage. What's the book made of? Gold.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even want you in my life.
Yeah.
Go away. All right. Yeah. People like that I don't want around.
Yeah. But that's what they do. They hunt around online, and I think they get frustrated. They'll see that person would have seen the ad, they would have seen the book, it's getting likes, it's getting comments, they can see it's getting traction. And then for her, 90% of coaches don't make money. So for her, that's probably very frustrating seeing somebody else make money, help people, have an impact. Yeah. And that probably is what triggers this is a joke. And
I know, but it's just, I don't get it. I just don't get that way of thinking.
That's the mind. They see it as some kind of like gimmick or tactic to get the book sold, where somebody who's switched on and they're open-minded and they want to learn from you, they go, £5 and I get all that knowledge. Happy days.
Well, I've had it before where other people have commented. Like I had a gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he's in the comments somewhere. He commented about a month ago and he said, like, guys, listen up. This is amazing. Like the value here is insane. If you can learn for just £5 how somebody's done 200, 300 property deals and you're into property, like why wouldn't you buy this book? Like it's such great value. And it's just, but we see this in every aspect of life and every aspect of business. There's always the people that are going to moan, criticize and complain. And there's always the people that are going to just get on with it. The people that just get on with it generally make money. The people that moan, criticize and complain. And if you're one of them, you're a fucking loser, right? Here's the thing, you're always going to be a loser. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, if you're not willing to spend £5 to better yourself, to grow yourself, you're going to stay stuck. Yeah,
but it's not even about the £5. It's about just the negativity. It's about I don't care about your £5, right? It's about the negativity. It's about the go-to is negativity, complaining, miserableness, moaning. And if you're one of them people, you're going to be a loser for the rest of your life. Just accept it. Right? Unless you do something about it. Like nobody in business has time for losers. No, we don't have time for losers. We don't have time for people that moan. We don't have time for people that go negative. We don't have time for people that criticize. No. Like, what would you rather do than critique? Or be if you're a critical person, you're always moaning and find something to complain about, what would we rather they become? So instead of being a problem finder. They're a problem solver. That's
true.
That's the
It's
easiest
true.
way to fix it. So instead of finding the negative of the problem in every single thing, start finding ways, okay, that's the problem. Now what can we do about it?
Yeah.
Like I've got people in my life who all they do is moan and bitch, and I'm not around them anymore because of that. Because all they ever do is moan and bitch. Like if I say, like for instance, and I'll give you a prime example, okay? If I say I'm about to use, I'm about to use this new marketing company, and this new marketing company are going to, they're going to help revolutionize the business. They're going to help revolutionize the marketing experience. And I've got people in my life that go, oh, I bet that's expensive.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. I bet that's expensive. So all they're looking at is the cost, and I bet that's expensive, right? They're not looking at what it could bring you. And it's likewise, I've got people that I get on Zoom calls with, and I have discovery sessions with. Now, a discovery call with me is, it involves three things. Number one, discovery. Discovering, who you are, what you're at, what you're doing, and where you want to go. Number two, me giving you strategies and helping you understand how to get where you want to go, if I can. And then number three, right, is if number one and number two are something I can help you with, number three is me putting together an opportunity for you to come and work with us on a much deeper, much closer level. And yes, that will require investment because I don't work for free, right? Likewise, I don't expect you to work for free. But people will happily say, oh, can you do it for free? And then I'll pay you when I get results.
Give me the help. Give me the products and the services, and then I'll pay you back once I make money.
It's just insane. That's like going to a Michelin star restaurant in London and saying, I'm going to order all this, and this, and I'll only pay you once I've eaten it and I've enjoyed it 100%.
Yeah. If I like it, if I enjoy it, if it's first class,
it's
I'll pay
such
you.
a broke fucking mindset to think like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of dealing with people like that. It's such a broke way of thinking, right? At the end of the day, look, you can't do that in any shape or life. But some people see the value. Some people see the problem. The people that see the problem are the people that are always broke. They're always fucking broke, right? And I mean broke financially and broke mentally. They're always broke. The people that see the solution and think of it as a great opportunity, they're the ones that are going places.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think the word is like expensive. Like often people will see a price of a product or a service and they'll say, oh, that's expensive. But what does that even mean? If you actually think about it, what does expensive even mean? Because if there's let's say you could learn a skill for £5,000, right? But that skill, once you've got it, will make you £100,000. Somebody will see the 5,000 and go, ooh, that's very expensive. But another person will go, wow, that's so valuable because I spend that £5,000, that can help me make £100,000.
I'm going to give you an example to that in a minute when you're finished.
But that's it. It's just like challenge yourself when you say, oh, that's expensive. Like catch yourself. What does that even mean? Like it's just that's not reality. It's different for everybody.
Two things. First thing, the people that say it's expensive, they've all got £1,000 phones.
Yeah.
They're all racked up to their eyeballs in some sort of debt.
Yeah.
They're all loving the Ibiza holidays and the glamorous nights out. Yeah. So priorities are in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Second thing, we had a meeting in 2023 with somebody. It cost me £3,600 for 4 hours. So I spent 4 hours with somebody. It cost me £3,600.
Oh, that's expensive.
That's expensive, isn't it? Do you know when I've told so many people about that, they're like, wow, that's ridiculous. Wow,
that's a lot.
They're like, wow, that's ridiculous. What are you doing paying that sort of money for somebody? And here's why. Because it was me, you, and that other gentleman. We were sat around a table like we're sat right now, and there was just us three. And it was like, okay, what problems have you got? What solutions do you need? And how can we help you? And it was very much like, we sat down, we had a clear agenda to what we want, and we went out and we did that, right? I know that meeting helped probably generate 100,000. A minimum, okay? So then, is it really expensive? Or is it, we are people that actually take action and we actually value what we learn at that? And it comes back to a lot of things, like how you value things, how you perceive things, and how you see things. And again, I'm going to say this, broke people, they want everything but don't want to pay for anything, whereas rich people want less and they'll pay more for it.
Yep.
But because they need less, right? And some of our most expensive training programs are bought obviously by the people that have got the money, but they're the least hassle to me. Like the cheap seats, you know, people that book a £27 ticket to come to a one-day event, they're the people, not all of them, some of them are absolutely amazing people, but that's where we have most of the problems, because they come to a one-day event for £27 and they want every answer to every question. Remember that woman a couple of weeks back?
Long list.
Remember that woman a couple of weeks back, yeah? So we were here at an event in my event room, and, you know, it's a £27 to come to spend a day with us. And, of course, that day is to open your eyes into what available is in property and to show you a route that you can take. We're not going to go into great detail we're not going to teach every single strategy because we haven't got the time over one day. Now, it's a one-day event from like 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, you're gonna learn a lot, but you're not going to learn everything you need to know to become a six-figure property earner, because quite frankly, we haven't got the time. And I don't believe in teaching something half-hearted. If I'm going to teach it, I've got to teach it A to Z so that you know fully how to do it. Now, this particular lady came to this event, and there wasn't a large, it was a small event, less than 15 people, okay? And, you know, I gave everybody the opportunity to ask a couple of questions, but I'm not gonna spend hours with everybody because, one, we haven't got time, and two, that's not what they've paid for. So they paid £27 to come to this room, under 15 people there, and I went round every single one of them. I said, look, what do you need from us? How can we help you? 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 And this lady literally wanted to know everything about everything. Everything about everything. She said, Alasdair, I'd really love it if we can just sit down on a private one-to-one basis and just go over all of this. And I said, yeah, no problem. Like, I've got an advanced training program for that. And, you know, if you want to have a one-to-one with me, that's X number of pounds. And she nearly fell off her seat. And, like, she just thinks that time's free. But again, guess what? She's broke. Right?
Yeah,
the perception is she wants as much as possible. She doesn't want to pay for it, and she wants us to give it to her. It's not going to happen, okay? And then she goes, okay, well, if you can't do that, can you answer all these questions? And she had 26 questions. And these were like, boom, 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 boom. And I said, look, I'll answer a couple of them, but that's what that's giving you value. But again, she didn't value or see anything further. Like, we offered her an opportunity to come and get 3 months worth of training and coaching. And again, she didn't see the value in it. But it's not she didn't see the value in it. She just didn't want to pay for it. She saw the value in it. She just didn't want to pay for it. That's the problem, okay? Whereas other people were like, snap your hands off, let's do it. They've now got first properties. Yeah, makes sense?
And it devalues everything else. So let's say whatever your product and your service is, and people have been paying you for that. Yeah. And then if suddenly somebody comes along and they want it for free and you give it for free, it instantly devalues for everybody else who's bought it previously. I don't know, what's a good watch? Patek Philippe, isn't it? That's a good Patek one. Philippe, yeah. So let's say suddenly, like, all these people have been spending, what, hundreds, thousands?
Hundreds, yeah, they're very expensive.
So if somebody's doing that, and then Patek Philippe suddenly goes, oh, actually, we're going to start handing out these for free.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
The whole value of that and the whole perception of that.
Wouldn't you be pissed?
Yeah. Why are they getting it for free?
How many times have you bought something and a week later it's on sale?
Yeah.
And it's half price. And like, do you know what I mean? It's annoying, isn't it? And it is, I do get that it's annoying. But certainly things like, you know, watches, cars, all that sort of stuff, the perception of value is huge because, you know, it's a big investment. For them then to devalue that by reducing it or giving it away or doing it for this, it's not right. It's not right.
When that has happened, like I had one and I spent some money to buy a ticket for, it was like a conference. And then a week before, it was like, they dropped it to nothing. And I only bought it like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's frustrating. But I thought to myself, do you know what? At the time I bought it, I still thought it was valuable. I still think it's valuable now. It's fine.
I know the company you run about. They do it all the time.
It's so annoying.
So they have a ticket at like $4.95, and then they drop it to like $17 to get more bums on seats. And I get why they do it, but it is frustrating. I know it's frustrating, but We just have to, just deal with it and move on. But, where else in business can you see this happens? Like obviously if you're watching this right now and you've got a business, what we're talking about is the perception of value and how different clientele receive that value. So can you see this affecting anyone else's business?
Oh, big time, because they're afraid to expand to the next level because of the mindset of where they're at and the perception of where they're at. So they think to get to the next level, there's too much sacrifice to get to that next level. But you got to think of what is the end value that you want? What's the end outcome that you want? And I think we've talked about this at one of our events before. People are always going to spend money if they see that they get more use value than the cash value they're giving.
Yeah, so it's like use value versus cash value has got to be bigger.
I wanted to say as well, the quick test, if you want to know where your thinking's at with this, the quick test, if you see somebody they drive past in a nice car.
I know where you're going with this.
For most people, they go, oh, they must have scammed some people, or they're a drug dealer, or
they must have stolen from somebody.
They've stolen
from the rich.
They've stolen from the
poor to give to themselves. Yeah.
And if that's your thinking,
you got some serious issues.
Yeah, you got to work on that.
You got some serious issues. It's like you ever seen on social media where the people that have got fancy cars, like, Porsches, Lambos, Ferraris, like really nice cars that are quite significantly valued, and they're getting trashed, or they'll be in centre London and somebody will be smashing the windscreen or jumping on the roof because it's a nice car. And again, it's always the broke people doing it. I'm
always gutted for the person. I saw one, it was an Aston Martin getting smashed up. I'm gutted for them because that person's probably worked hard. They've created jobs. They've created income.
Everyone thinks just because you're driving a nice car that you're an absolute twat. They all think, oh, look at him, he's a twat. All that says is you got some issues going on with you, right? Because you're right. That person's worked hard. That person's had to save money. That person's had to put money aside. That person's probably sacrificed all the shit that you do and don't sacrifice because you want to live it up. But that person's probably sacrificed all of that in order to build a business that's got him to a point where he can afford that car. You'll probably find he's employing people like you, right, who are employees. So he's giving back. He's doing whatever. And yeah, he's treated himself to a nice car because let's face it, business owners don't go out and buy brand new cars straight away. They're like a reward for years and years and years of sacrifice and putting effort in. And then you get some absolute bell end come along, jumping on the roof of a car and, damaging it just because they can't have it. I mean, it's kind of pathetic.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Doesn't happen in America, though. Or Dubai. Doesn't happen anywhere like that. In Dubai, they celebrate that. In America, they celebrate that. In America, if you drive past in a Ferrari, they ask you, how did you do that? In the UK, they call you a wanker.
Yeah. In Britain, there always has been an underlying culture of people who become more successful. But that probably comes from aristocracy, royal family, all of that. So it's kind of bred into us. I think, I don't know. Do you think it's changing, or do you think?
No, I think it's getting worse. I think the UK population are getting worse at that. I think,
just
honestly,
the divide.
I think, yeah, but you could say the divide, you could say the wealth gap, whatever. But I think what's happening in the UK, right, is there's certainly a lot more negativity in the last couple of years to entrepreneurship, wealth, and success than there has been for a long, long time. And you're getting out, and I'm not saying it's necessarily, let's say, the working classes or the middle class's fault, but the reality is, I think what's happening is the working class and the middle class are getting squeezed on everything because of, right now, labor. So they're getting squeezed everywhere. So they then look at other people like us who are doing well, and they think, you've scammed somebody, you've done this, you've done that. Like, I've got people that are very, like, in my immediate family that have that thought process. And they think if because I'm doing well, that I've had to do somebody over to do well.
Yeah.
Right? It's
somebody else
is lost because I've won. Yeah. It's bullshit, mate. And it's only ever like people that think like that say that sort of stuff. And I think because this wealth gap's getting bigger, and like, listen, I'm not super wealthy, I'm just doing well, okay? The reality is this, right? Everyone has the opportunity that we have. Everyone, I don't care who you are, right? As long as you're of clear mind in the sense of you've not got, disability that prevents you from doing it. Like, I'm not saying you can't do business with disability. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if you're in a position where you physically can't do something, then you're okay. You're fine. Okay. But the reality is, when I say anybody, I mean anybody can make a lot of money in life if they put themselves to the right vehicle to do it, and if they just take action and make mistakes and don't be scared of fucking up. You know, I play poker, so I go to poker and I play in casinos and I play poker tournaments. And I was chatting the other day to he's 19, right? 19 years old. And he is a young lad going through university, and he's not from a rich background. He's from a very working class council background, okay? And he just didn't want to get a job. Basically, he said, I don't want to work for somebody. So he's going to uni to do a degree, and he's got to do all his dissertations and all that sort of stuff. But he decided to start, thinking about, like, how can I make money without having to do a lot? So what he done was he set up a website, and he set up a TikTok channel promoting various other, like, crypto trading platforms. Now, everyone that signs up using his referral, he gets paid £250 as a referral fee. So as soon as I think it's 250, I'm not sure exact amount, but it's a decent amount. So everyone that signs up using his referral link, and they have to deposit like a minimum of £1,000, he gets $250. I'm sure it's $250. I'm sure it is. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but he certainly gets a nice referral fee. And what happened was his TikTok started going really quite well. And suddenly he was getting quite a few, sign-ups. Like, I can tell you now, in January of this year, right, he made £60,000 in referral fees in 1 month. Right? It's insane, isn't it? Now, he did say it was his best month ever, and he didn't repeat that in February. Or in December, well, it was lower, but it was a very peak month. Now, obviously, January, if nobody wants to go back to work, they want to do new things, yeah. So, but my point being is he's gone out and thought, okay, how can I think outside the box? Where do I see value? Where do I perceive value? Where do I see value? And where can I give value? And he's created a program for it. He's created an opportunity for it. Made himself £60,000-70,000. Yeah, nobody believed in him. Nobody believed that it was going to work until it worked, and then suddenly now everyone believes in it. Come on, you just got to be innovative, and you just got to do something. Get out there and just do something. Take action. Find a loop. Find a gap, and just do something about it.
Yeah. What if there is? It's like, what if there is another way to make money than what we've been told, and we've all been channeled into this way of get a job, go to uni, get a job. But what if there's another way to add value?
Yeah.
There's other ways to make money.
The thing is, right, it comes back to, going back to what you say, right? Comes back to, like, look at the schooling system, look at the education system, right? And it teaches a framework, doesn't it, of go to uni or go to college, get your qualifications and go and get a job, right? That was fine in the 70s, not today. No. Right? And then what happens is you're teaching people that way of thinking. So they go into life with that way of thinking. And then every time something new is presented to them, because that's not what they've been taught, they see it as a scam and their arms are up saying, whoa, what's that all about? Yeah. So they don't like change because they're so indoctrinated into becoming normalized. And I don't like it. I don't want my family being like that. I don't want me being like that. I want to be different. And I've always been different. I've been different since 6-7 years old, right? I've always wanted change. I've always wanted to do the things differently, and I've always wanted to make more money away from being outside of the controls of a 9-to-5. And again, if you like 9-to-5, good for you. It's not for me, okay? So then what can you do differently? And it comes back to this whole, like, the wealth divide, yeah? I don't see it as a wealth divide. I see it as people that do and people that don't.
Good way of putting it.
I see it as people that take action and people that don't. I see it as people that are brave and people that are not. I see it as people that want to learn more and do more and create more and people that don't. Because the reality is, most 9-to-5ers, they switch off at 5 o'clock, they go home and that's it, they're done for the day, and they're on Netflix or they're doing whatever. They've got no aspirations to be a business owner. That is absolutely fine, by the way. I'm not saying anything otherwise. I'm just saying the people that are successful, they're successful for a reason, because they didn't want to accept 9-to-5. So don't criticize them because they've done something and gone out and stepped out to do something, and it's like the whole, people criticizing the wealthy people being paying the least tax and avoiding tax and blah, 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 blah. Hi, Debbie from the council estate selling your crap on eBay. Did you pay tax on that? Did you fuck? You're a tax avoider just like the rich. So get over yourself, right? Here's the thing. Everyone there's a saying, innit? Don't throw stones in glass houses, right? So just be careful, yeah? Because, the reality is everyone criticizes the big companies for avoiding tax and paying as little as possible. You all do. You just don't know how to. That's the problem, right? Every single person listening to this who's in business will do whatever they can to minimize their tax bill. Why? Because the government don't spend it well, right? Because they fund, how many thousands of people come into the country every day, putting them up in hotels and having a £2 million a day hotel bill for people that shouldn't even be in this country, right? So don't talk to me about tax, okay? But, Debbie, next time you sell all your crap on Vinted, yeah.
Government are clamping down on that, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, and with eBay,
Vinted.
they have to declare how much they've earned.
Well, they're now going to Vinted, and they're now going to the sites and saying you have to tell us what you've paid out in commission to these people.
Yeah.
Same with TikTok. The amount of people that are getting caught out on TikTok right now, where they're starting like TikTok creator shops and they're doing like TikTok pages and they're still claiming benefits. So they're claiming benefits on one hand, but they're running a TikTok shop and they're putting into PayPal accounts, and the government are clamping down on all. Like, I saw a case the other day where there was a lady who's been running a really successful TikTok shop, making like a chunk of income, but yet she just got her benefits cut, and she's now on TikTok complaining about it. One of you lot grassed me up. Now I've had my benefits. Now I've had my benefits cut. Come on, Sandra, do better.
Sandra,
whatever. It was probably a Becky from Essex. Right, anyway, whatever. Anyway, how stereotype are we? Anyway, okay. So the whole purpose of this webinar was to talk about perceived value and just doing better, right? Hope you found it useful. If you have, comment, like, share, tell me more. My name's Alasdair Cunningham. This is Tom Cook. We're out of here.